The Devils have a massive decision to make. GM Tom Fitzgerald must figure out how much is Luke Hughes going to get paid, and is he going to get a contract with New Jersey? And we get a quick little update on Captain Nico Hischier. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Devil's Digest. I'm your host, Ryan the Goose Gosiker, here with you as always. Before we get started with the program, I want to give you a chance to be a subscriber to the channel. We've got great programs coming up for you, episodes and all that kind of stuff, taking you through the entire Devils off season, okay? But our goal is to get to 500 subscribers, and we need your help to get there. So we have just crossed the 400 subscriber plateau, so thank you to everybody that's been a part of that, but we need more, okay? We need more. We got to get to 500 before we can take the next step up. So hit that subscribe button and get locked in. Now let's get into the program. Ladies and gentlemen, the Devils have a massive decision to make, and I'm here to tell you that I was, going over some of this stuff, and of course, GM Tom Fitzgerald, doesn't speak directly to the media. He's got to talk through, other channels and everything like that. But the Luke Hughes contract is a priority for New Jersey. I'm not here to tell you that the massive decision that they have to make is necessarily whether to sign Luke Hughes or not. Obviously, I think that's a pretty obvious decision, and I think even those who aren't the biggest Luke fans understand that the Devils will be signing Luke Hughes this offseason. The question and the decision is going to be how much, and how much that impacts the rest of the roster. Now, the Devils have a projected $12 million in salary cap space going into the offseason, so the question's really going to be how much does Luke eat up of that salary cap. And you could see here, Hughes, I believe that's talking about, Luke's season a little bit and how he's a restricted free agent. He is ineligible to be offer sheet. I don't care what a Carolina Hurricane fan tells you. Okay, he is ineligible to be offer sheeted. So you can see there, we're kind of breaking down Luke's season this year, what Fitzgerald kind of thought. The Devils do have other pending free agents, although I've made it very clear Nate Bastian should be gone. Kurtis, Lazar, I would look to bring back. Sprong will be interesting. Dowling, adios amigo. Dumoulin, obviously interesting. Chalowski, adios. Jake Allen, another one. I believe my partner, Aiden Barrett's going to take a video on that. I know, in this article, actually, Fitzgerald mentions Allen, and we'll see that in a little bit. But I just, I'll leave that to Aiden. Let Aiden talk about that one. I did one earlier in the offseason about that. Tomas Tatar obviously going back to Switzerland. So the Devils have a lot of decisions to make. One about Luke Hughes, and this I just love this second sentence is actually he's here to stay in New Jersey for the long haul, and as you can see there, ineligible to receive offer sheets. I'm trying to find the quote that I love. Here it is. And while Fitzgerald didn't dive into specifics, he did declare that a contract with Hughes is getting done. It's a matter of when, not if. We all expected that, right? I kind of think we all know. The question is going to be, and the question remains, what is that contract going to look like? So they broke it down in one of these articles. He'll take up most of that $12 million. If it's a 6-year contract, Evolving Hockey currently predicts that it's going to be around $7.5 million annually. If they stretch it to 8 years, which is just an extension of 2 years, right? Doesn't seem like a lot. The prediction is that the annual cap hit will hit a whopping $9.4 million. That's going to be a lot. That is a lot for Devils fans to intake, to digest. No, you know what? Actually, full pun intended with it being Devil's Digest. That's going to be hard to digest, right? We all want Luke Hughes here forever. $9.4 million is going to be a lot. I think the Devils are probably going to give it to him anyway, no matter what. As you can see here, the next sentence, the Devils can pay Hughes virtually any amount of money, and fans will be fine with that, as they should be. Okay, if you're a Luke Hughes believer, you're not going to mind that $9.4 million cap hit, because obviously as the cap continues to rise, that contract the value of it will be less and less as he continues to go on. And obviously if he develops into what we believe he's going to be, then you don't want to run the risk of 6 years, because then that 7th year, you're now looking at a contract north of $10 million if he turns into what we all think he can be, and that is one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League, which he has shown flashes. I know a lot of people don't love his defensive game as much, maybe his offensive game. I think it's all still developing. And Luke's definitely been given some different responsibilities and jobs for a guy who's in his first and second year, the last 2 years, okay? This past season, he was basically the last man standing. Him and Pesce were the last two standing from their opening defense pair in game one. And then Luke went down, right? So I think Luke has a ton of room to grow, and I think he's going to be excellent for this team. I think he loves playing with his brother, so I don't think he's going anywhere on that end. I just 9.4 is a lot. I would probably now go it just based on this. If it's going to jump, that's roughly $2 million per year for 2 years. So if you go to the seventh year, maybe you're looking at an 8 or 8.5 annual cap hit. I think that's the sweet spot. I think 7 years, $8 to $8.5 million annually. Lock it in. Make Luke Hughes a Devil for the next 7 years, and then go from there. Right? That's just my opinion. And again, like the Devils have $12 million. If Luke takes up 9.4 of that, then you're starting to get into some of the territory that I've talked about in other videos where guys just kind of have to disappear off the roster. Now, again, we think that the Devils are going to try and be very aggressive in trading someone like Andre Palat and try to get somebody to take on his full $6 million cap hit. If they can do that, obviously now that clears up even more cap room to sign somebody else. And again, they still have holes. They need to get bigger, as one fan left a comment on the last video. Okay, but seemingly they're gonna lock in Luke Hughes long term. The question is going to be how many years and what's the annual value. And I don't even think the years particularly matter. But if you're looking at it from this perspective that's in this article, the years do kind of matter. If it's 6 for 7.5, that's a lot different than 8 for 9.4. So, like I said, my middle ground, which I'm always a fan of compromise, I go 7 years, $8.5 million, and the Devils have then at that point $3.5 million to use. They look to get off of Palat, potentially look to get out of Haula. That's some other money that they can get rid of to give them another $8 or so million to spend. So that's how I would do it if I was GM Tom Fitzgerald. I am not GM Tom Fitzgerald, so we'll see if he's able to kind of wheel and deal and make some moves. Now, what I promised in the opening was we did get a slight update on Nico Hischier. Now, Fitz talks about Allen and wanting to come back and everything like that, but certainly the last two paragraphs are mightily important. The status of Nico Hischier, who sustained his lower body injury in the World Championships, and he says it was one of those things that he probably could have come back to play in the tournament, but no one was going to take a chance. He's fine. He's working out. I sat with his agent the other day, who actually just hung up with him at the time. He's back to training and will be ready for training camp in September. That is great news. Okay, I know, even if you weren't worried, or maybe if you're slightly worried, now there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Nico Hischier back and ready to go. Okay, so I just love that we get that little tidbit of update in there. And then obviously the Allen thing will be very interesting to track. As I mentioned, my partner Aiden Barrett will come out with a video about that soon, so make sure you check that out. And again, always leave a comment here on Devil's Digest, these videos. Where do you sit on the Luke Hughes thing? Again, I think we're way past the should the Devils sign him this offseason. The question is going to be how many years and what's the money? What is your sweet spot? What do you think Luke Hughes should get and will get? Leave that in the comments for us. And again, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the channel and help us get to 500. We're just over 400. We need your help to continue to grow and continue to produce great Devils content for you. I know it's not going to satisfy everybody, but you can kind of see over my shoulder, I've got my Devils jersey hanging up on the door a little bit, working to get some more stuff out here and on here. So I appreciate everybody for listening, for watching, however you're consuming this content. We thank you on Devil's Digest. We appreciate you being a part of the Devil's Digest community. We thank you, and we'll catch you next time on Devil's Digest.